Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. My name is Tobal. We are making a little bit of money now. Super useful to not be broke, right? We're earning about, this is your annual, I believe, your annual earnings at a glance. So we're making roughly 300 to 400,000, which is pretty good, actually. And let's swing upstairs, swing up north here. We're going to look at that cargo route that was going between the manufacturing stuff and Pontaland. Holy crap. Have we gone crazy on this route? Let's slow it down a bit. Now, we're still at good demand, or good supply. So, if we look at the logging company, we're only transporting half of their goods. So, we still have plenty of room for more. The problem, actually, was probably going to be the space for the actual horse and carriages to pull up. Because there's not a lot of physical space, and they carry so little that you need more of them on the road. So one solution, in theory, could be to put another truck stop down, where at one truck stop you only drop off goods, the other truck stop you load goods. So that could reduce the traffic. We could also test out the one-way stuff. Hey, build the headquarters of your company in a location of your choice. Where do we want to build our headquarters at? Do we want to build near one of our starting cities that helped us, break into the world? Do we want to build on the nice river here? I'll tell you what, we're going to build in, what about Portland? Nice little town, right on the water. No reason to build it there. I don't really know what the headquarters does, to be honest, other than company score of 1. I think it is a visual representation of your company, kind of like the throne in Civilization. Remember when your throne would get upgraded? Was that like Civilization 3 or 4? By the way, one of my favorite freaking things that I don't do anymore, which makes me sad. Let's throw this bad boy into Royal Tunbridge Wells then. We'll have a nice headquarters building downtown. Get it while the getting is good, while the town prices are not too expensive. We'll tuck this right in here. And I'm actually literally trying to tuck it in the ground. There we go. So we'll throw this one right there. And I think it's going to grow over time. Look at our sad headquarters. Seriously? What even is this? Well, you can't relocate it at least. That's nice. All right, so going back up north, I'm going to use the line viewer to see how all of our different lines are doing. Lots of money. We are making money with logs. Our most lucrative right now. Normally, the raw producer is always going to be a ton of money. So if you had grain, for example, any of those lines are always going to be lucrative. Our tool line is profitable. Hey, our passenger line is actually making money too. How many folks do we have on yon train right now? We have almost a half full vehicle. Station is crowded. Yeah, that's a big thing. So we are trying to work on the crowding issue. You can see now that there's actually a lot of people waiting at Kempston, which is good. We're almost going to have, not quite yet, we're not quite at a full load each time. By the way, the little smoke cloud you see, the city is kind of self-upgrading, which is pretty cool. So as your city continues to grow, you'll see that happening from time to time. Oh goodness. I don't think I saw this coming. I bought 10 vehicles at the same time, and I put them on routes that I think all go through this town. So we're going to have a bit of a traffic jam here for a minute until everyone gets a service, but hopefully that's going to help reduce the impact at this particular bus stop. I wonder how pissed off the town is getting at our traffic. Yeah, just a little bit of complaints about the emissions here, the noise and the poop emissions. Oh, wow. Very high emissions in town because we're all just right outside here, all sorts of stuck. Why aren't you going anywhere? Are you trying to turn around? Okay, there's just a little bit of a delay. 3 off, 3 on. It'll get cleared out. Whenever you buy a batch of new vehicles, there's always a bit of a funky part to it. It does form its own kind of balance over time. Right, so in the Kempton station, we have 31 people, so it's still getting very, very popular. You know what I didn't check? I meant to come back and look. How is our train faring with speed? Okay, so you're going 40 kilometers per hour, which is good. I'd like to follow you and see if you slow down at any point, because if you're having slowdowns, I guess we could look at getting a second engine or reducing the amount of cars you have on, or the passenger cabins. So I think the only spot, wasn't there a spot, was it a stretch just outside of Kempton that went uphill? No, that looks pretty easy. Maybe it was on the other side, way down here. There was a stretch, I thought, where we did have a bit of an uphill challenge to it, but it seems to be chugging along pretty well. 27 miles an hour around the turn, or kilometers per hour. Yeah, it does. It all seems relatively good. Maybe there's a slowdown because we went uphill or something. Yeah, I think that was it right there. A bit of a slowdown there. No big deal. So we are going to get more, obviously as time goes on. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and bring the speed back to normal so we can kind of progress through history a wee bit faster. I guess what I'll do for a bit is, since this is relatively lucrative, we're making lots of money off this line too. There's tons of gear still waiting here to be delivered. So I could, once we save up some money, I could try to add more cars onto our train, which I think maybe cost a couple $100,000. One boxcar would cost $200,000, which is rough. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to save up, actually, until right now. That's exactly the moment I wanted, was over like 500,000. I'm going to add 2 more boxcars onto our cargo train. And I'm going to keep bumping everything up. The end, so you want to find your bottlenecks in this game. The end bottleneck for us right now is the supply, or the demand, I guess, of Pontland, right? So we're supplying only a quarter of what Pontland can totally accept every year. So we want to try to get that as close to 100% as possible before we start expanding to other cities. So everywhere else, though, we're at 50% of the forest logging stuff. We're at 100%. We are transporting everything they make, which is good. Now, that actually is a concern. If you're at exactly 100%, this normally means you've got some trucks leaving that aren't full. Yep. Well, these are emptying. Hang on. Let's take a look. What you don't want to have is this right here. You don't want to have a train or a vehicle that's a transportation one, a cargo vehicle that's on a cargo route that doesn't have a good to transport. This is basically just empty and it's costing you money. Granted, it's not a lot of money. This is still early game, but the concept stays the same. So what that means is we need to increase the amount of production here, which means more trucks onto the logging route, assuming we're still okay traffic-wise. I would like to experiment with this. I'll tell you what. Let's mess around with this just a bit. What if we... How can we do this? Can we specialize and say where we want certain cargoes to be placed? I think we can. We could extend this out more. Like, we could make this a really long run. And then we could say, I want you to go out this way. Does this stay as a one line? No, it just says go out this way. I'm curious. So what do we do? Can you make the one-way street? No, this is the... What is this one? Upgrade. Oh, this upgrades to whatever you're highlighting to whatever you want. Used for rerouting a line, can be added to a line like a station. Okay, so that's like if we wanted to manually make people take a certain road, which in this case we actually might. So we're going to throw this over here. Okay. I'm kind of curious to see what happens here. Are they going to actually use the one way out? Oh, there we go. Just like that. So they are... Now, does this help or hinder us here? Would be my question. Now, are you just passing through empty? Let's watch a truck as it comes in. Okay, so here comes a horse and carriage full of logs. It's going to... Okay, so it's going to loop over and turn in here. So I guess it's a bit random where they turn in at versus where they load. Unless all of them unload in this lane here. We're watching you turned around. Now you're loading up. So is it, if you're loading, you come right here. If you're unloading, you come over here. Okay, that's actually pretty helpful for this route, right? You're unloading or you're taking planks and then heading on out. The only, I guess the only downside to this is that there's a bit of a loop there, so people are turning left. But I think the only people who turn left are the ones who would come in this lane. If you're picking up planks, you're going to immediately go to the right lane. And if you're going to drop off wood, you're going to go here and then turn around. So the only downside would be right there, where you unload your wood and then you head out this way. Sorry, I'm like, I know this is like super exciting stuff, but it's interesting because this is a brand new concept. So I'd like to make sure, we try to exploit it and use it to our greatest advantage. It does seem like it's reduced some of the traffic problems, though. So whenever I don't have any traffic problems, I would say buy more trucks. Let's add another 10. Maybe that's too much. Let's grab another 10. There's no such thing as too many logs. Let's do the log route. You can't even see the color of the road because of the sheer amount of truck icons, which is crazy. We could make this pretty smooth, though. I could see putting some time into developing a nice transportation line that was very, very smooth. So, for example, we could have two, like I said before, I'm pretty sure you can have 2 truck stops. And actually, I'll tell you what, let's test this out for fun, for science, for fun. We want to have 2 separate truck stops, one for dropping off logs, one for loading planks. That's what we're going to do. So, we've got logging trucks would come in here. I could have them just like come into a different stop and then go out. I'm trying to think of what the best. It's not really positioned that well. I do like the one-way out kind of a thing though. So we could even put a stop here and continue that one way out. So all vehicles come through here. The only problem is that there's a bit of a crossing right there. So there's always going to be kind of an intersection stutter where vehicles are stopping. We could reverse it to make it easier. We could have vehicles come in this way and then out this way. Ooh. Can we change how this is down here? No. We can't change the source of the road, I guess, which is a bit of a bummer. I could just move or delete this station. All right, tell you what, let's wait for a little bit more money before I start messing with that. I feel like I'm going to screw myself over. Meanwhile, real quick, let us send our good friend to the depot. If you want to send a train to the depot, you can click on it and then click on this little depot button. It's going to ask you, do you want to send it to the depot to just maintain it or sell it immediately? So once that has gone back to the depot, we'll add a couple more carts on here, box cars. More box cars means more money. It will slow them down a bit, but this is a pretty steep, or not steep, sorry, it's a pretty flat approach. I don't think it's too bad. So to configure this train, we're going to click on it, go to the little wrench icon, and this is nice because it doesn't force you to rebuy anything. You can basically say, hey, we're just adding 2 more box cars on this bad boy. Yes, it's poor. Very poor traction. That's okay. We care. You know what? How bad is it going to be if we have another boxcar on here? Goodness gracious. It's going to be slow as all get out, but we're taking 49 or 50 per run. 3 minutes. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how bad this is. This is a lot of this for me is science with this new, with the new iteration of Transport Fever. A lot of people, like folks like Colonel Failure, folks like that are super into the simulation will come up with all the numbers and the exact methods behind everything. So I will happily wait for them to do much better science than I can do, and then I shall take their glorious findings for myself. We're going to spin this train around, by the way. One other tool you can do. Once the train is completely on the track, you can hit reverse, and the train will magically flip 180 degrees, and in this case, it was going to go back to Pontland, which doesn't have anything for it. So let's have it come back here, pick up a massive load of goods. It is taking a long time for it to get up to speed. I guess if you have a completely flat run with very few hills, it's going to be beneficial to do the longer cars, right? It takes it a longer time to get up to speed. Oh, hopefully it doesn't... Well, it's not going to have to stop for anyone. They're going to have to stop for it, or we're going to have some horse burgers on the side of this dirt road. There we go. I actually thought they were going to cross right there. So I want to see how lucrative this run is. I think we've almost doubled what its capacity will be, which is going to be nice. Also, traffic, you know what, honestly? Traffic is moving pretty smoothly through here. So maybe it's one of those situations where it's not broke. I shouldn't touch it too much. All right, we'll speed things up. I'll be back once this train hits Pontland, and we'll see how much money we make. All right, we're pulling into Pontland. I think it's actually grown a little bit because I don't think it was at 98 last time. So we can almost do 2 full runs a year. Grand total is $400,000 for this run. That's awesome. Now, of course, the goods have to be unloaded by truck, but that's more of a steady stream of things, right? The only problem would be if we get back to load up the tools and come back to drop off and the existing inventory is not delivered, then we would need to add more trucks here. But it's pretty much, you want this to be a pretty steady stream of delivery. I think we're in pretty good shape though, honestly. That was a pretty decent penny. Let's take a look at the overall lines, and yeah, lots of our lines are doing really, really well. What's not doing well are taxis. Now, taxis are probably not going to have a huge turnout. The thing about taxis is your taxi is all about supplying people to your passenger rail. Look at that. 48 people waiting in Royal Tunbridge. We've got on this end, the train may have just left. That's why it's so small. Hang on, where'd the train go? We have lost the train. Woher ist deine Train? Okay, the train is pretty far down, so not a huge demand right now or supply of people on the Kempston end, but the entire point of why you've got the tram line is to get people into your train station as fast as possible. Also, it looks like we've really reduced the amount of people waiting at the station, which is good as well. The demand between cities is interesting, and I don't know what goes into bringing more passengers that want to go from here all the way over to Royal, because it's just, sometimes it's like witchcraft. Sometimes it's huge. Like, I've had a game where, and maybe it's because I have a ground route. Maybe the first time I played, I only provided a route with a train. Oh, you know what? I just thought of this. I also bet a huge influencer will be if there is a existing road between a city. So you see how Southwick and Kempston are both completely severed. They don't have a connecting road, which means no private citizen in their own private vehicle can get there, which means that our train would be even more valuable. So maybe that's the key, is to look for those big cities that don't have a road connection directly. I mean, even, this road here, it's kind of like a main highway. It does curve up, go up all the way up to New Biggin, sorry. So this, I'm sure private citizens are using their vehicles. Yeah, there we go, right there. So there is a private citizen on the road doing their own thing. But that could be a way to make some money as well. Go for cities that are severed by no natural road. That's what actually really makes a lot more sense. I probably did that on accident in one of my first builds, but I'm looking at like 130 people waiting in my source cities here. So it was quite nice. Actually, we are getting a full load, which is lovely. So we are making a lot of money. Hey, we're back up to 1 million or so. I'm going to spend a little bit of time letting the game pass and making some money to repay the loan. I'm just going to let things run for a bit. I think balance-wise, I've got a lot of this stuff where I want it to be. The taxi routes probably aren't ever going to be lucrative, but again, it's all about having a super mega low frequency in order to provide, what in the world did I do here? Oh, that's the delivery. Sorry, that's the delivery of parts into in Pon or whatever that town was. Okay, I was a little confused. But yeah, the entire point of having a taxi route is to get people to the train station. Otherwise, super awesome routes. Very, very happy to see the money. Who's our big earner here? The Logs. Logs almost making 200,000 a year. So if you can find a couple of those types of runs, I mean, here, we can even do, you know what? Let's do this. Let's set out a simple run to get food to Southwick, because it's just free money. It really is like 2 minutes of effort. And this is early game. This can really help you build up your income, right? So all you need to do, come over here, drop down a stop right in Southwick, drop down a truck stop. We'll do a simple truck stop. We won't do anything super fancy here. Just a simple truck right in the middle. And real quick, I just did repay a loan, so I don't feel bad about re-borrowing it. We're going to grab a truck stop right here, and then a truck stop as far away from the grain as possible as to reduce travel time. There we go. I will have to put down a road depot because there's no existing road. Now, the depots, by the way, do cost maintenance money, I think. They did in Transport Fever 1. I assume they would here as well. It's probably going to be under something like road maintenance or road infrastructure. So these depots do cost, right there, $83 per month. So keep that in mind. You keep adding more and more of those, you will have a little bit of extra maintenance to worry about. All right, let's make a new path real quick. Just a really simple run between, we'll call this truck, cargo, Southwick, grain, or gains, whatever. Grain, gains, all the same. Grains give you gains. Then we'll have our delivery into town a little bit farther, but it's still going to be lucrative for us. Really, it's when you're using all of the resources from the farm, that's when the money really starts to come in, because they're paying you because you're taking the grain out and selling it to a producer. Even if the producer doesn't necessarily make the final run, you still will make money. Like, honestly, we don't have to, I'm pretty sure, if you just deliver grain to here, it's going to produce it and just let it, I don't know if they privately take care of it or what, but they still they'll still spend or give you money for providing that good. It's just that there's no final step for you. Maybe they do that privately, I'm guessing. But yeah, you don't actually have to do the full line. You could simply just say, hey, anywhere that there is a raw material next to a processor, I'm going to do it. That would be another thing to try out too, for science purposes. All right, let's go with truck, transport, Southwick, and this is food. food delivery. Okay, that's taken care of. We'll grab a couple of trucks here and there. I am going to grab a bunch of vehicles out of the gate because I know the grain routes are super lucrative and they have a ton of grain waiting to be used. So we're going to grab 30. Ooh, I almost just bought 30 passenger vehicles. Nice. Okay, we're going to buy 30 horse-drawn cargo carriages, all for the grain. And then we're going to only grab like maybe 15 for the final delivery, just under the amount of money we have left right now. Cool. So it'll take a couple of months for that to get going, but it's going to be free money. I mean, it's just, you know, you don't have to, you set it and forget it. You got food going into town. Every so often you'll check back and see that, hey, we're hitting the maximum or Southwick is growing. So now we can help it grow by giving it more food. The other thing you could do is, like we talked about, the fact that Southwick is separate from Kempston. We could make a small passenger line, go to kind of service those areas, Southwick to Kempston, although I don't think a lot of people from Kempston want to go to Southwick, but the growth would help, kind of the public transportation would help the city grow. So when the city grows, that's more supply or more demand here. They want more food. So that could help your business as a whole. So keep that in mind. There's other ways to, you know, if you're maxed out and you're delivering as much bread to the town as they can stand, then think about other ways to grow that town. You're trying to, you know, encourage these towns to grow and be massive metro complexes. We've got a passenger count of 35, so we're not quite full at Royal Tunbridge. It almost seems like it's here and there, but I still think it's going to be relatively lucrative. Hello, we have a massive holdup here between Oopt and Roy. Oh, this is Upton and Royal Tunbridge. Okay, so we haven't added any vehicles in a while. Hey, we got a new train. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Let's go back and find where is my road? It's like 1,000 miles away. Let's do as many as we can afford right now. Oh, we just got a massive income. Now the money's going to start trickling in hardcore. Although I guess it's not really a trickle if it's coming in hardcore, huh? All right, so this is going to go to the Blue Line, Upton, and Royal. Cool. Again, just checking your cities every so often. And really, I haven't even been up here. I don't think I've looked at Stockton on T's at all. How are you guys feeling about life? Yeah, you could use a few more. Stockton and New. Newbiggin by the Sea. You also have a lot of people that want to go to Stockton. Okay, then we'll do the same thing. We'll just, every so often, have to remind myself, just go take a look. Shoot, did I buy the wrong type of truck just then? Did I do it? Did you all call me out on it? No, I didn't. It's still passengers, or did I? They'd be over here, wouldn't they? They're all in a tight little group. Oh, I did. Oh, shoot. All right, I bought the wrong type of vehicle. So let's go into Tufton Royal. Yep, there they are. Which ones are which? These are the passenger Vics. Okay, so I'm going to undo this. Not undo, really. I'm just going to send them back to the depot and hold them for a bit until I get more cargo lines. All right, so send back to the depot. Sorry about that, folks. All right, I shall clean this up. I'm going to get some more roads or vehicles assigned out, and then we'll take a look at that new train. Okay, much better. Hey, by the way, Saffron, are you guys doing pretty well too? Yeah, you're okay. I would say, like, having 3 or 4 little people symbols here is okay if you can manage that. When they start to get like this, then you're starting to lose traffic, and people aren't getting service. What about Luth? How's Luth, the Luth route? Not a lot of people want to go to Luth, apparently. Pretty boring place, maybe. And by the way, we are helping all of these towns grow over time. You can see the public and private transportation is up. So it's all helping these towns grow slowly. So it's not a bad idea. So that new train, let's go to a train depot and just take a peek at the Russian class type 1. Can't do it. Almost more than double the power of our existing train, which is nice. It's not much of a better top speed, but that's going to be huge if we're talking about how, you know, going up hills and stuff like that. 500,000 to replace it. So I think once we save up enough money, or I could take out another loan because, you know, why not? The better line for this to work on would be up here right now, because right now we have a surplus of parts that need to be delivered, I think. Let's take a look. Yep. We still have a ton of parts here that are just sitting around not doing anything. And Pontland still needs more delivered to them. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to once again visit the banker, borrow $500,000, just casual walk up and grab 500. You know, 500K in like 1857, isn't that like a ridiculous amount of money? Wouldn't you only need like a couple thousand back then? All right. We're going to let this hit. And then I'm going to send you back to the depot. Now, you can configure and replace the vehicle right. Like, if you do replace selected vehicle, what happens is, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you sell your existing vehicle and you buy your replacement, you would replace everything. I could add in the Russian thing, I could add in the boxcars. It won't keep your existing boxcars. So I want to keep the existing boxcars. I just want to upgrade the engine. So what we'll do is we'll pull the engine off. We'll give it the new locomotive. And maybe I'll just keep that other one here. Maybe we'll do we could start up another line. We've got a free locomotive. We could send on towards Castleford. They also want tools. That would be a very, very long run. The longer the run, I would say, the more important it is to wait for a later time period, because then you're talking about trains with some actual oomph. They can get up and, build up a lot of speed. All right, let's go into configuration. We are going to remove the vehicle, add in the Russian Class T 500K. Okay, and there we go. And now it even says that it's mediocre. Oh, we do sell the vehicle, by the way. There's no way to store it, it looks like, as far as I can tell. So we would lose 300,000. You are a speedy, speedy bastard. Let's add a couple more cars onto you. When do you go to poor? Oh, wow. It's like this vehicle never goes poor. Holy crap. This would be 84 per run. I'm a little afraid to add this many boxcars. Let's stick near 50. We'll add one more boxcar onto it and see how it performs. Because if you add too much at once, you're going to wind up with an empty train that doesn't have any goods on it, which is going to cost you maintenance money. So we'll keep an eye on that. How are you guys doing otherwise? You are... Hey, we're almost at the point where we're going to upgrade the Settle Sawmill. Once it hits 70%, it's going to upgrade to the next level. It will probably be able to produce 400 units of planks per year, but we would have to then supply it with another forest logging company, which is right here, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And we could bring this all the way down south. I mean, if we could tie this into our main line way down the road and deliver some tools, I would be all for that. Let's do, I think I had the train going the wrong way. So once it gets straight, we will reverse it, pop, lock it, or reverse it. Perfect. All right, we'll let that go for a bit. It's going to take a minute to get going. It looks like a pretty speedy train, though, honestly. It's almost all the way up to 40 kilometers per hour already, which is nice. All right. So you're doing well. Anything else we need to check on? Taxis are doing poor. That's okay. That's fine. We could look at replacing the passenger line. However, I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal right now. The passenger line is not doing all that great between the towns. I mean, it's okay. It's making us some money. But as it is, I think it's about fine. It's not completely full, but it's making enough to be profitable. So until we have a different situation, until the demand really kicks up between Royal Tunbridge and Kempston, or Kempston rather, I don't think we need to upgrade the engine. So we'll leave that running for a bit. Are you like slowing down hardcore right here? Oh, you do slow down really bad right here. Well, shoot. Remember how I said we're not going to replace the engine? Maybe this is a big factor in why people don't want to go, because it takes so long, because the train is really slowing down in this one spot. Ooh, interesting. Well, this is where you get to see my my flippy decision making. I think, knowing this, I might add on the new engine, because it should be able to have the tractive power to get up this hill without trouble, greatly reducing the amount of time this entire journey takes. So we'll let this train drop off its passengers, and then I'm going to send it back to the depot, which is 1,000 miles away, and we'll upgrade that one as well. By the way, what I'm doing here, I'm letting the train deliver its passengers just to get that bit of money. And then before they start to load passengers on, I'm going to send it to the depot. Right there. So you're not really wasting any potential customers, and you're able to get that last bit of value out of that final delivery. Oh, look at how much this glorious cargo train is hauling at once. That's awesome. We're at 56 tools. And the cool thing is, as our trains get better and better, we're going to be able to have more and more cars on there, so that, these routes, like the end goal would be in 1 year. Maybe it takes the game or the train 1 year to get all the way to Castleford, for example. So we want to make sure we give them all of their demand in the span of 1 year. So that's why you're going to be going, once the routes go farther, we're going to have more powerful trains that can carry kind of more cargo at a time. Has our other train arrived over? I need to look at my vehicle list and then trains here, and then we're looking at the depot. Yes, and I like that I can manage this from over here too. Train 2 has arrived at the depot. That's our passenger line. I want to see how much money we make from this one delivery though. Let's look at it in this nice sharp contrast as well. Ooh, cool. Our little vehicles are different colors. That's awesome. Big money, no whammies. 500,000. That's glorious. And there's still room for more tools because this town still has a higher demand. Awesome. We are making hand over fist money right now. All right, we're going to sell our old engine, add our new engine. I'm just going to do a flat switch. I'm not going to add any more cars. We're not going to do anything else. We're just going to keep it and roll. There we go. New engine, and we're going to set this on to... No, this is not... There we go. We need that Kemp line. Cool. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode. As you can see, we are doing pretty well. I think what I'm going to do over time is start paying down this loan in order to get another free... I mean, it's not much. The interest isn't horrible, but it would be nice... You know, that's another free $100,000 a month that we could have if we pay off the loan. So I'll start working the loan down. And next episode, I think I'd like to start doing some more complex lines. Either a full-on cargo, like a big cargo line, or we start expanding our tool industry, which is a possibility. It could be a long run down the hill here, but it is all in the realm of possibility. Oh, hey, how's our lovely little town here doing? I forgot all about Southwick. We're giving them 30 bread per year, and we are huge growth. Look at that. Huge growth in the city because we are providing all of that bread. So we are awesome breadites. Yes, lovely. We're providing 100% of the food or the grain possible out of the farm. Is this a lucrative line, by the way? This is supposed to be one of the grain lines, right? Sal? Can't tell. I think they're all profitable, so I'm sure it is. Holy crap, man. $677,000 in 1 year. That's how much this line is making us right now. Good stuff. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, my friends. As always, I will see you again in the next episode. And until then, take care.